Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about mangas and sometimes books. As for today's video, I have the reading log for the month of June. I didn't read a lot, so without any more further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's start off with the shoujo, and here I have the second volume of Otaku Vampire Love Bite. This is by Julieta Suzuki. And here is the back, and I also read the third volume. Here is the cover and the back. So if you don't know what Otaku Vampire Love Bite is about, we basically follow this girl who is a vampire. Her name is Hina, and when she used to be like this person who didn't like to go out, but everything changes when she finds this anime that's also about vampires. And so once she discovered that, she decided to move to Japan so she could follow her otaku dreams and get all the merch and everything that there is about like every type of merch that there is about this anime she really likes. And that's basically what we follow. We follow her day-to-day life as a vampire who is trying to make friends and be out and about, but it's obviously hard for her to do that because obviously being a vampire, she cannot eat like normal human food, and sometimes the events she wants to go to require her to eat the food for her to be able to get like the merch that she wants. And that's where her neighbor, which is this guy, comes in. His name is Hoshino. So Hoshino is her neighbor, and he already knows that she's a vampire. And in the first volume, it ends with this guy, who is Victor. This guy is also a vampire, and he is now in charge of taking care of her. Also, she's like the daughter of the first vampire ever, so she's kind of like a little princess, and this guy is her bodyguard. And that's how the first volume ends. And obviously in the second volume we continue with this guy. We learn a bit about him and his relationship with Hina through this second volume, as well as the third one. I feel like he came and added a bit of comedic relief. Also, look how cute. I really like him. So like, yeah, in this volume there's like a time where Hoshino needs for his college. He's a college student, and they having like this festival, and they kind of ruined the costumes and all of that. And Victor arrived with a ton of pretty clothes, like vintage looking pretty clothes. And Hoshino goes into the apartment because Victor is staying in Hoshino's apartment, and so he goes into his apartment. And this is a part where he essentially leaves Victor without any clothes, and his reaction. Yeah, I really like this manga. The third volume is also really good. I feel like this story is developing really well. We are getting a lot more information about the vampires in this world, because apparently it's not only Hina and Victor, but there's also like a lot of other vampires and all of that. And I cannot wait to see where Julieta takes this story to. And yeah, and there's some sort of feelings being developed between Hina and Hoshino that I cannot wait to see how they continue to grow and see where those feelings go for them. And I 100% recommend this manga if you really like vampires, comedy, action. This one also has a bit of action, and just following the day-to-day life of an otaku vampire. See where she goes. It's really interesting, and the art is of course beautiful. Let's move on to this one, which is Junoi Tsukishiko's Happy Hell. This is the first volume, and it's all I have of this one. Here is the cover, and here is the back. So in this one we follow Mikan and Junoi. So Mikan and Junoi. Mikan is the granddaughter of this like really rich guy. He owns like this company where they sell like food, I think, food no, like, yeah, well, like food. So apparently mikan is like an orange in Japan, and mikan's granddad, he has like a whole farm of those oranges, and then with those oranges they create different types of food, for example like jam, yeah, like orange juice, like different products with that orange, which is mikan, and that's where she got her name. And then we follow Jonoi, who is also the grandson of another like really famous like company guy. Like his granddad owns this big company where they also create food, but this one is more focused along the lines of like pastries, frozen food, and all of that. And these two grandpas are trying to get their grandson, and their granddaughter married. And that's how this story began, with Mikan and Jonoi having supposed to go and meet with each other on a blind date. But the thing is, Mika is already in love with some other guy, and so we see her here crying on a box made up paper outside a park, and like she's drinking and she's crying because she obviously doesn't want to get married. Like I said, she's in love with this guy named Takashi, and yeah, so she decides to bail on Jonoi. She doesn't attend the dinner, and that's when Jonoi shows up outside her little house, and he's like, well, I'm glad that you didn't show up because I cannot be with this nonsense. And that's how they first meet. Obviously Jonoi is very he's not he's not a really good guy. He's like really judgy, and like he treats Mikan really badly. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about Jonoi. He's really funny actually, but the way he treats her is like really really bad. But at the same time, you understand that he's not like, his granddad at the end of the day is forcing him to get married to Mikan, which he's also not interested in. But there's a whole misunderstanding, and that is that Mikan thinks that he is actually in love with her, and that's the reason why he wants to marry her, and that's the reason why he went ahead and followed her at the park where she was at the beginning of the manga. But that's obviously not the case. Jonoi wants to be far away from her, and he is not absolutely interested in her at all. But yeah, they do end up doing it in their first volume. And I have an issue with Mikan, and it is the fact that she's like really gullible, and she fell in love with Jonoi in this first volume. But Jonoi is like, I'm not interested in you, girl, like please get away from me. But I feel like there's going to be some feelings developing for Jonoi, and he is going to struggle with those feelings, and I cannot wait to read it. We also learn that Mikan is trying to be a more independent woman, so she decided to leave her grandparent house to move out on her own, and she is now trying to get a job. She's obviously really clumsy and not really good at it, but she is trying her hardest, and I will give her credit for that. I cannot wait to read the second volume in this manga. Okay, moving on to the first BL that I read If It's You, I Might Try to Fall in Love. This is a new release. This is the first volume, and the author is Maru Kubata. So in this one we follow two, I think they're high schoolers. I actually could not like figure out if they were in high school, but I think they are. This guy is Amane, and okay, so Amane and Ryuji. And I feel like you learn that Amane has had a lot of relationships, but they don't tend to last because he is not ready to fall in love, or more like he's afraid of falling in love with someone, and he's he's always like, I will never fall in love, that is until he meets Ryuji in his first time when he arrives at this town with his where his grandma lives, and that's where they meet Ryuji, and they sort of hit it off first. And Amane becomes close friends with Ryuji after that first meeting, and then we learn that they are in school and they are going to be in the same class. And yeah, you see them be together, develop this cute friendship, while of course Amane trying to hide the fact that he is gay because he doesn't want to ruin this new developed friendship that he is having with Ryuji. So it's you kind of see him that he is actually developing feelings for Ryuji, but you see him struggle with that aspect, that he doesn't know how Ryuji is going to feel once he confesses his secret. And I think this is a really good manga. Here's the thing, it's the first volume. I did really enjoy this story, but the thing with stories that have this whole thing where someone is hiding their sexuality, I feel like sometimes a mangaka can either develop such like a great, heart-wrenching, absolutely beautiful story, or it can kind of go downhill once the volumes continue. I will continue to give it a second try, but if you do not understand anything I said about this, let me read you the back, so maybe that could help you figure out if this is a manga you want to read. For me personally, I really enjoyed this first volume. I really do want to get the second one once it comes out, and I think it has the potential to be one of my favorite mangas. But yeah, let me read you guys the back, or you can pause the video to read it for yourself. So it says, when you've spent your entire life shooting the part of yourself that's capable of love, it's terrifying when love finds you. Everyone has shown Amane that being gay was enough to push away those he cared about until he moved to Enoshima and met Ryuji, who was everything everyone else wasn't. Amane doesn't need to hide when they're together, and his feelings quickly outgrow the veil he'd safely shoved them behind for so long. But now Amane must reckon with something even scarier, the hope that this love could be real. Yeah, it's again, it has the potential to be a really good manga, but yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I guess I'll have a better opinion of it once I read the second volume. And yeah, so this is the first BL I read, and let me know if you guys would read this one. Okay, so I read the third volume of Stay By My Side After the Rain. This is by Shoko Rakuta. This is the third volume, and I feel like I cannot talk about this third volume because I might spoil stuff for the people that are currently reading it, or for those that want to read it. So instead of that, I'm going to talk about the first volume, which I remember correctly. I don't remember if I have ever talked about the first volume. I think I might have skipped this one when I was supposed to talk about it, but let's fix that. So in Stay By My Side After the Rain, this is the first volume. That's the cover, and this is the back. So in this one we follow Kanade and Masahiro. So Kanade is this guy. He works at a publishing house, and yeah, so one day when rain starts to fall down, all of a sudden Kanade is trying to find somewhere to seek shelter and stay away from the rain, obviously. And that's where he meets this girl, and this girl is like, hey, you can like come inside the cafe where I work, and you can stay there until the rain stops. And so Kanade does that, and that's where he reunites with his friend Masahiro. Now, Kanade and Masahiro used to go to high school together, and they used to be really close friends. That is until they graduated from high school. After graduation, Kanade decides to cut off any type of contact or relationship with Masahiro because Kanade realized that he was deeply in love with Masahiro. And now that they have reunited at this cafe, Kanade is like nervous. He's not sure how to act. He is like worried that if Masahiro learns about his feelings back then, he might hate Kanade. So Masahiro, being completely oblivious to this reaction, he continues to try and talk to Kanade. He continues to try and rekindle that friendship that they used to have. And so he's like, hey, like maybe we should get together, like let's catch up and all of that. And Kanade is obviously having the hardest time ever because although it's been years, he has realized after seeing Masahiro again that his feelings might still be there. And yeah, so they decide to meet and all of that, and that's where suddenly Kanade confesses that he was in love with Masahiro when they were in high school. And that's where Masahiro decides to be honest as well, and he also confesses his feelings towards Kanade. And that's how they are going to develop this relationship, right? They used to be really close friends, then they stopped, and now they have reunited and they are going to start a relationship. Obviously, because it's been years since they have seen each other, there are going to be a lot of problems. There are going to be a lot of things that they need to talk about, especially Kanade, because, well, I think it's something with both characters. Kanade doesn't want to be a burden towards Masahiro, so he likes to like keep his feelings to himself. He doesn't like to talk to Masahiro about what his feelings, his insecurities and all of that. And at the same time, there's a problem with Masahiro where he sees that Kanade doesn't he sees that Kanade is like hiding all of this, and he feels like Kanade has all this pressure in this relationship, and because of that, Masahiro also likes to keep his worries and his feelings towards himself. And that miscommunication, well, not miscommunication, but that not communicating with one another is what's going to cause issues in this relationship. But again, they used to be friends, and they understand one another in a way that I feel like no one else would ever, and that makes this manga, this story, this relationship really cute, really wholesome. There's also talk about like coming out to their families, which is really hard for them, obviously, especially for, well, I feel like there's no competition. It's really hard for both of them, and you get to see how, although that there's this hardship when it comes to communicating their feelings, when the time comes where the other one needs to lean on the other one, they are there for one another at the end of the day. And yeah, I really like this BL. I feel like it's one of my favorite BLs of this year, and yeah, I 100% recommend this, and this third volume as well. And I think there might be more volumes coming out. I'm not sure when, but I definitely plan on reading the rest of this series. Okay, we are almost done, and I also read I Ship My Rival and Me. This is based on the Danmei novel by Peppa and art by Qualia. Here is the back, and this manhwa we follow Wei Shanxi and Gu Jilang. They are both actors, and they are supposed rivals, but that's a whole misunderstanding on both of their fans' part. They don't really communicate or talk with one another, but he is an upcoming actor, and the other guy is like a veteran actor. He has more like followers, more fans. He has a lot more work under his belt, and people think that he is jealous of him for some reason. And yeah, they think they don't get along and all of that. But in this first volume, we learn that they are working together in like a drama, and that's how they sort of start a friendship. Okay, so I found the page where we get the names of the characters. So this is Wei Jianxi and this is Gu Jialiang, right? Okay. So one day, again, people that they don't get along, that they are rivals, but one day Wei is waiting to get called on so he can go act his scenes, and that's when he finds himself scrolling to what I guess is Twitter, and he's like looking at everything, and he finds that they are people that actually ship both him and Jialiang. And he goes onto this rabbit hole where he not only finds people that are actually shipping him, but he also discovers fanfics where him and Jialiang are actually in a relationship, and how they are secretly hiding that relationship by trying to play off as enemies, as they don't get along, as rivals. And he starts to follow one of these accounts with it's like a secret account, and then he falls so deep into this rabbit hole that he actually starts to fangirl well, not fangirl, fanboy, and actually ship himself with Jialiang. Like every interaction is like, oh, I bet so and so would have the funnest idea for this fanfic and all of that. I really enjoyed this manhwa. I think it's really fun. Also the art is really beautiful, and of course you guys know the chibis. I always like when authors draw really cute chibis. It's so cute, it's so adorable. I had a really fun time reading this manhwa. And yeah, we also get this section where everything in this manhwa is in the perspective of what's his name, Wen Jianxi. But we do get certain sections where we get to see a bit of this story in the perspective of Jialiang's, and that is Jialiang's diary. And I think that was really fun. I felt like that was really unique. And yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's really funny. For some reason, recently I've been reading a lot about actors being in relationships. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, I really like this one, and I do plan to continue with this series. Now let's move on to something that I didn't hate but also didn't like, and that is Revenge Agent Hizumi-san. This is by Miyako. This is the cover, and this is the back. So, you know, like, again, I didn't like this one. I didn't like it, but also didn't hate it. I feel like I had like a different idea for what I thought it was going to be about, and I got something completely different, and I did not like that. So first of all, can we appreciate the cover? The cover is really pretty beautiful. The art is really gorgeous, but sadly the story was not it. So what's his name? So let's call him Kuga. So this is Kuga. Hold on. This is Kuga. He is recently divorced because his wife found out that he was actually cheating. He cannot keep it in his pants for more than 1 minute. He apparently had been cheating on her for a lot of time, for a really long time, and with a lot of different women. And in this first chapter, we learned that the wife is out for revenge, and she hires, obviously, Hizumi, who is going to find where Kuga is and take the wife's revenge on him. Now this is where they first meet, and he's like, why is there a weird guy standing outside my building? And this is where everything goes down the drain for me, because when I saw that Hizumi went outside his apartment, of Kuga's apartment, I thought it was going to be a thing where he would move in like next door to Kuga and like slowly but surely make Kuga's life a mess. That's not what I got. Hizumi, it rhymes with grape and starts with R. I think what I said makes sense, but at the end of the day, that's what Hizumi does to Kuga, and then Kuga is like, well, now that I've had a taste, I cannot get over it, and I want it to happen again. It's a really short story because we then have another like short story in this volume, but after reading that, I did not feel the need to read this short story again. It wasn't what I was expecting, and I did not enjoy that. I would not recommend this to anyone. Please don't read it. Skip it, especially if reading about grape is not something you enjoyed. Don't read this. Skip this one, but do read My New Boss is Goofy. Okay, the last volume I read is My New Boss is Goofy. This is by Dan Ichikawa. This is the first volume. Here is the back, and in this one we follow the day-to-day lives of these two guys who work at this company. Now we follow our main character, which is Momose. So Momose, and then I forgot his name. I am sorry. So this is Jusei and this is Momose. So Momose decides to quit his last job because his boss was really mean. He was very abusive towards Momose, and he has this trauma when it comes to working. And so we see his day-to-day life at trying to overcome that trauma in this new work. And obviously Jusei, being a great boss, a great person, he is obviously trying to help Momose try to feel more comfortable in this new job, and with him as well. I feel like Jusei is something Momose really needed, because just like the title says, Jusei is really goofy. He's really he makes the silliest mistakes you could ever imagine. What is the word? Aloof, I think it is. Yeah, he's very that. He's very cute. He's very wholesome. Also, the chibis. Stop. I really like the artwork, the story, and the chibis in this manga. I really like this manga, and I have to say that there's also a cat in this, and we actually hear it. Well, not hear. You can read the thoughts the cat is having, which I think is really cute. So it's basically a slice of life, comedy, wholesome manga. I really enjoy this, and I have to be completely honest that I read I watched the anime, and because of the anime I decided to get this manga. I really like this story. So if you're not sure if you should get the manga, give the anime a try. You will not regret it. Trust me. Also, the chibis. I love the chibis. They're so cute. Yeah, it's there's not a lot of plot going on, but just the day-to-day lives of these two guys, and Momose trying to get over his trauma. Look how cute. This one too. Yeah, I cannot wait to get the second volume of this. Obviously, I already like this one because of the anime. So again, if you're not sure if you want to give the manga a try, maybe watch the anime. I really enjoyed it. It's also really cute. It's really wholesome. It's something to watch after you've been at work for a long time and you just got home and you want to unwind. 100% recommend you watch My New Boss is Goofy. So yeah, that's all I read for the month of June. I had some really good reads and not a very good one, but overall I really enjoyed the month of June with everything that I read, and hopefully you guys will give some of these mangas a try. Let me know down in the comments below if there's one you want to read of the ones that I talked about right now. And don't forget that if you like this video, please consider subscribing and give it a like. Without any more to say, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.